first fight. Raped and robbed in boxing when I first started because I didn't know the business. Didn't get the script, lose my first fight. Took on the industry, became partners. Y'all ain't gonna last. Joe and Oscar gonna be in court. I outlasted him and Richard. When people continue to not research and understand who they're dealing with before they speak, I will always win.
You forgot about losing your job in the hotel.
Yeah, there's so many. We'll write a book if we get to talking about it. There's so many. That's the thing about when you're dealing with me. It's so many things that you know, Ron, that I left out. The hotel, Penthouse Hotel. When I first got my first little ink in the Daily News, and it said Bernard, convicted felon, where he come from, because after the first loss, I started knocking everybody out like the first 6, 7 rounds. Again, his quality opponents was on my level. But I was above that level, but still at that 6-round, 8-round fighter. Like, where he come from? He did 5 years, and they laid me. They said lay off. You know, they tell black folks you laid off. That means, right? So I got laid off. Right? Like they gonna come get me back next week. I just sit back and say, man, I'm not trying to convince y'all what I can do. I think we all agree that, Bernard, you know what you can do is, can you continue to still do what you do? And I'm saying, that's why we're here. That's why November 8th. That's why this fight is dangerous. That's why anything can happen in this fight. Listen, it's not gonna be easy. I'm not looking for anything to be easy. If it's easy, I can lose. You never heard a statement like that from anybody. What do you mean if it's easy, you can lose? Because nothing haven't been easy for me. I never had a one-liner where I had a date on a one-liner. I mean, nothing. I had to work for everything I got. I had to work for Jeanette. I had to work for. I mean, I had to beg her. I had to beg. I had to convince that I was the guy. So what I'm saying is this: nothing has ever been given to me. If you understand the subtle conversation I said, it doesn't matter if Larry down there, there. But remember, Larry, when they grabbed you out of the office, who you was on the phone with every day? How we was talking. Because we friends, I understand. There's no problem. You have friends in positions. You gotta be professional, I gotta be professional. But you wanted to plant that seed, or you know, Bernard, so you had to try to soft water. I just want a fair fight. I wanted to expose that. I just want a fair. You're a puncher. You make your own fair fight. Right? See, he making excuses already, and they put the deception out there. Had Larry sitting back there, so I put a little jab, not at Larry, but I put a little jab to make him square in his chair a little bit. Nobody did me a favor. I don't owe Larry, I don't owe his persona, but I'm a renegade. I've been a renegade in boxing. I will go down being that because I won't become part of the ills that I despise, and that's what I signed up for when I became partners with Delaware. And that's why you see me take his side, no matter what his personal problem was. If you got it together and you got it straight, I'm with you, brother, because I was down and out, not on that aspect of it, and I'm not going to turn my back on you. But you got to tell me and you got to give me that promise that if I'm here, and I'm here, that you run that straight line, you walk that straight line, and I'm there.
That's what you said to Oscar?
Yes, he'll tell you. That's what kind of man I am. They ain't taught in boxing. They ain't taught in some homes. I was raised by old school. I was that lone wolf in the streets. And in the penitentiary, and I was raised by hustlers. I was raised by smart people that could have been Fortune 500 people if they went that way, if they wanted to. But they was brilliant in another world. They was brilliant in another field of doing business. But I've learned from that. And if you look at everything, it's all comes in the way of life. And I take that in the ring, I take that in relationships, I take that in conversations, I take that in everything I deal with. Because I don't believe in separate entities and dealing in this world that we call life that doesn't co-hand with the other or correspond with the other.
Now, one of the things that happens with guys that have a lot of success in boxing, in my opinion, over time, is their sort of demise begins when they begin to resent a little bit of the challenge from the younger guy. You know, they look at it as like, wait, you know, I'm this guy. You seem to have always been able to avoid falling into that trap.
You know what Ron you know what he just said? You know what he just asked me? If you didn't, I think you should, because what he said is important. I just don't want to get off talking without everybody hearing the question. Ron, can you talk a little bit, please?
Yeah. What happens to a lot of successful fighters over time,
or athletes,
period, is they begin to resent the challenge offered by the younger guy. They
don't need it anymore.
Yeah, they begin to look at him as if to say, "What are you doing here? You know who I am." You seem to have been able to avoid falling into that trap. How and why you and a lot of great champions.
Let me tell you. You heard what Ron asked me, right?
Yeah.
Y'all want to really understand how I think, but maybe don't understand why I think that way. But let me tell you what I do to myself. Even though even though I've been blessed through my talents to move far away from where I grew up at, inner city. But I haven't abandoned it as far as coming around, riding through, seeing things, just to keep my mind stimulated while I'm in the race. And I would do it even after my career is over. Why? Because I always go back every now and then, not all the time, and hold on to something that I remember that was the hardest times to never give up, even in the best times, finances and your lifestyle and a fight coming up and wherever age you are. Ron, I go back to Germantown. I go back to North Philly. I go back to Raymond Rosen. I know 90% of the people I don't know 90% of the people that's there. They know me because of sports. They might have heard of me if they're a little older. And I just look at buildings, I just look at neighborhoods. I just ride through just to stimulate my mind to understand that I came from here. And if I get caught up like some and most that have because of what you just said, Ryan, then I will not be successful as I became and as I still be in the game. Even though I'm rich, even though I'm well off, even though personal things are set, they continue to keep the hunger in a hungry man's sport. The steaks is in the freezer. You have to be able to have that strong mind and will to be in this sport, or even hold the same integrity you hold in a job when you didn't have 2 cents in the bank, now you got 2 million. Do you lack off till you get comfortable? That takes a strong mind. You're dealing with a man with a mind that's undoubtedly the strongest that any athlete that I can even mention from the past and today. And I'm saying it about myself. And there's a lot. That's Ali, that's everybody. And I'm saying, far as mine, I go back to where I've come from to stimulate my mind and the life luxury that I live in now, to give the balance of where I came from and where I'm at now. If I didn't do that, I don't believe I would have been around as a winner, history-breaking making. I don't believe that my spirit and my mind and my discipline would have held up long enough to say, why the hell am I in here with 4 fighters before Kovalev? Why am I here with Gene Pascal, who's strong, swinging from and fighting him in Canada? Why the hell I'm here? That would have came up a long time ago. Only take one punch to make you think that way. So, Ron, that's the way I am. That's the way I'm going to be. And if I know I want to still feel comfortable around people that haven't reached the level in any way of their life that I have reached, then I always will have that in my personal and in my sports and the movers and shakers that I've been around, multi-millionaires, 1 or 2 billionaires. I'm always accused of being a Republican because for my money, of course, I should have a red tie on. But for which I come from and who I'm around most, I think Democrat. Because some, if not a lot, needed the help from the red tie people. And so I understand why I'm called that, and not a distasteful way, but in a way that the way I think. Here's a guy that paid millions of dollars in taxes, paid 14 in the last 11 years. And I voted for a Democrat. A Republican looked at me like I'm crazy. Don't you know your taxes are gonna go to 39% now? This fight, the next fight, or whatever, right? But I'm just telling you the way I think. I'm just telling you the way that I'm self-educated, for good or bad. I have imperfections, but I understand this. As long as I'm willing to not be embarrassed about what I don't know and proud what I'm trying to know, then I don't have to worry about impressing people. I don't have to worry about satisfying everyone that need to be satisfied because I think one way and they think one way. And as long as I do that, I believe in good spirit. And I believe I'm being protected. I got Mama Shirley up there. I got Mama Shirley up there, man, with the table with the father. And she's saying, look, I know my son been hard-headed. He was hard-headed when I was down there. You know what I mean? But I know what he's going to do, and you know what he's going to do, and you know what he wants to do. And I will know the time. Look, listen, I didn't get here by accident. I had to do some thinking. And I know for a fact when it's time when I don't want to put myself and anybody else attached to me through the grueling of work physically to go through what I have to do to train. I still respect the game. I respect the game so much where I put my body through a 25 or 19-year-old workout, and I work with younger people that I can be their father. We run in sprints at Temple. They looking at me like, how did you do that? And what I said, because you running fast and I'm running smart. And so it's just a thing. So I got one more question.
No.
I'm gonna do two. I'm gonna do him and I'm gonna do yours.
But we have to do HBO.
I got you. Just let me know.
Keep make them nice and quick.
You're known to do a lot of things mentally. Everything from getting a guy to follow your direction on stage to the last meal you used to do years ago.
Thanks, Kevin.
When you were saying all the things you were saying on stage, including when you looked at him and said you look dry right now, what look did you see in his face? Did you feel like he was beating him up mentally? Did you feel like...
No, when I say look dry in the face, I ain't gonna do it the way he's beating him up. That's the inner. That's his spirit. That's how he feels, the lack of what I'm doing or not doing. But one thing we all know that you can't, presence can be hidden because of makeup, because of, they got these things you can put on your body under your suit and make your body look slimmer. They are images. And I've been around the game so long, as you know, I can look at a guy, not judge him, but give some kind of inclination on how he take care of himself, even in the streets. I can look at the whiteness or the lack of around your eyes and see if you drink or smoke. That means something wrong with your liver or your kidney. See, the body even talks to you when the body is dead. Why do you think you got medical examiners that can come out and say how you died, when you died, and what time you died? See, when you don't have this knowledge that I transformed to boxing, and I be able to look at my opponents, I got the upper hand from the jump. So when I say you look like a raisin, I want that in his mind that I noticed that. So he's gonna have to deal with that for the next less than 48 hours. This is sunk, this is out, it's dehydration. So we're gonna push. The first couple of rounds is gonna be vicious for you. You only used to going 4 or 5, I understand that.
No, we gotta do yours after.
So I'm almost 50, so I might...
By the press room.
By the press room.
Okay, we'll get one up to get the 6 too.
I gotta move them now.
So that's why I said that. Yuri, let's go.
No, we're good. She said we'll do by the press room. You want to do by the press room? Yeah.